Good morning. Welcome to Bay Area Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm Reverend Katie McQuage-Loukas, and my pronouns are she and hers. We gather this morning, grateful for sunshine and blue skies, grateful for one another, grateful for the chance to sing and speak and simply be together this morning. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you arrived here in this place today, in spirit, whether you're joining us here in person or online, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. If this is your first time with us this morning, you are welcome here. If this is your 500th time with us this morning, you are welcome here. We are glad that you are here, and we are glad to be here together. Let us begin our sacred time and space together with the words of Laura Horton Ludwig. The wheel of the year has turned again. Once more, the Thanksgiving season has arrived. How shall we sing our gratitude now? For what shall we give thanks? For this moment, for friends near and far, for our breath, for love, for courage and clarity, for strength, for delight, for laughter, for beauty, for the tables round together, for the food we enjoy with friends seasoned with love and memory, the sun and moon and stars in the sky, the trees who have seen so much and still stand proud, stretching themselves to the sky. For the bright voices of children, for the wisdom of elders, for actions that bless the world, for hard work that makes a difference, for music and art and celebration, for generosity, for compassion, endurance, for joy, for hope. For all these things we give thanks as we worship together.
Good morning. I'm Jane, your worship associate, and today Susan Long will be lighting the chalice for us. We light this chalice to find inner peace, love for each other, and faith in ourselves. Also, to be welcome to whomever we meet and kind to all living creatures. So gather around this light of hope as we share this time together. Thank you, Susan. So now, please stand as you're willing and able to sing our opening song, number 67, We Sing Now Together.
Oh,
Covenant is not a definition of a relationship, it is the framework for our relating. This calls for a level of trust, courage, and sacrifice that needs to be nurtured, renewed, and affirmed on a regular basis. Abiding in covenant is an art form, a mutual creation. Please join me now in saying our covenant.
Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship. Thus do we covenant with one another.
Our lesson reading this morning is number 725, 725, from Reverend Jacob Trapp. It's almost at the end. Please join in with me. Simply to be, and to let things be as they speak wordlessly from the mystery of what they are. Simply to say a silent yes to the hillside flowers, to the trees we walk under. To pass from one person to another a morsel of bread, an answering yes is the simple, the quietest of sacraments.
Good morning. My name is Gloria Miller, I am the Director of Religious Education here at Bay Area Unitarian Universalist Church. My she, her. Our story for all ages today is entitled A Native American Family Story, written by Kevin Myerd. Fry bread is food. Flour, salt, water, cornmeal, baking powder, milk, and maybe sugar. Big bowl. Hands mold the dough flat like pancake. Fluffy like Nana's softest pillow. Fry bread is sound. The clanging on the stove. The fire blazes from below. Drop the dough in the skillet, the bubbles sizzle and pop. Fry bread is color. Golden brown, tan, deep like sienna or earth. Light like snow and cream, and warm like rays of sun. Fry bread is flavor. Beans or soup, smell tacos, cheese, and vegetables, delight in honey or rise to discover what brings us together. Fry bread is time. Weekdays and holidays, supper or dinner, powwows and festivals, moments together with family and friends. Fry bread is art, sculpture, landscape, portrait, our daily craft shared from teacher to student, a cycle of heritage and fortune. Fry bread is history, the long walk, the stolen land, strangers in with unknown food, we made new recipes from what we had. Fry bread is place, Alaska, Kansas, all the way to Maine, down to Delaware, on to Georgia, over to Oklahoma, Colorado, and California. Cities and lands we call home. Fry bread is nation, Abenaki, Apache, Arapaho, Ojibwa, Onondaga, Oglala Sioux, Narragansett, Navajo, Seven, Shoshone, Sac and Fox, hundreds. Fry bread is everything. Round, flat, large, small, north, south, east, west, black, white, familiar and foreign, old and new. We come together. Fry bread is us. We are still here, elder and young, friend and neighbor. We strengthen each other to learn, change, and survive. Fry bread is you.
There was a line in that book, "We are still here." And I don't know how many of you grew up in this area, but I did. And when I was growing up, I was told that this had been the land of the Karankawa people and that they were gone. And if any of you are Texas Monthly subscribers, you may have, I think last year, read an absolutely fascinating article about the Karankawa people who have been reviving their language, building their customs, and gathering together from Galveston to Corpus Christi to show us that they are, in fact, still here, that they never left. They were simply quiet for a while, hiding and trying to preserve who they were. And it's a beautiful and it's an amazing thing. that we are in a time and a place where they feel that they can come forward, that they can name themselves for who they are, mourn what was lost, but also try to rebuild something beautiful. And so today, when I light our red candle of community, of memory, and hope, I light it for us, but also the larger us, the imagined we might be, knowing that we are on the land of the Karankawa people and that they are here. I also light our candle for peace, and today I light it particularly aware that Ukraine has now faced 1,000 days of war. And so we light this candle to remind ourselves to bear witness, to not turn away from Ukraine or for any of the many nations around the globe at war right now, or even from conflict close to a world with more peace. So at this time, I invite you to bring forward your breads and light candles of your own. Logistically, try to have just one movement forward. And so whatever hopes, whatever dreams, whatever worries, whatever you carry this morning, come forward and light candles as we do every week. But also come forward with breads. We will bless them momentarily. There is a platter there, and then I've got some overflow platters that I will switch out should we need to do so. So come forward as you feel moved. Will you please join with me in prayer? Spirit of life, move in us this morning. Help us to feel a sense of gratitude even when it is hard. Remind us of our blessings and abundance, not to make our struggles less real, that we can bear them. To remind us that we can help others bear theirs, and that we are stronger than we know. We are grateful this morning for one another, blue skies and sunshine. We are grateful this morning for beauty in music and song, in the shining faces of our friends and neighbors. May we know our blessings so that we may choose to bless the world, making it better day by day, little by little, inch by inch, loaf of bread by loaf of bread. Amen, and may it be so. Our prayer in song, for which you may remain seated, is we're going to sit at the welcome table, and it is number 407, not number 402. Number 407, we're going to sit at the welcome table.
Today's reading is A Map of Balance and Harmony, an excerpt from Braiding Sweetgrass, Indigenous Women's Scientific Knowledge and the Teaching of Plants by Robin Wall Kimmerer. At the height of summer, when the days are long and bright and the thunderers come to soak the ground, the lessons of reciprocity are written clearly in a Three Sisters garden. Together their stems inscribe what looks to me like a blueprint for the world, a map of balance and harmony. The corn stands 8 feet tall, rippling green ribbons curl away from to catch the sun. No leaf sits directly over the next, so that each can gather light without shading the others. The bean twines around the cornstalk, weaving itself between leaves of corn, never interfering with their work. In the spaces where corn leaves are not, appear on the vining bean and expand into outstretched leaves and clusters of fragrant flowers. The bean leaves droop and are held close to the stem of the corn. Spread around the feet of the corn and beans is a carpet of big, broad squash leaves that the light that falls among the pillars of corn. Their layers spacing is the light, a gift from the sun, efficiently with no waste. The organic symmetry of forms belongs together. The placement of every leaf, the harmony of shapes speak their message. Respect one another, support one another. Bring your gift to the world and receive the gift of others, and there will be enough for all.
Bread to build relationships. To invite another person to our table is to say that we want to be a part of us, to become part of the family. When we offer people food, we are offering our stories, our identity, who we are. And it is unusual for us as a culture to ask people to bring their stories to the table, but Thanksgiving is one of the times that we do that. That time when the family came and brought their parents' pie recipe, and the newly married couple brings a casserole from the other side of the family. This is one of those moments when stories come together around the table. Not every culture has bread as their staple food, but I think for many of us as Americans, it represents the most basic food form every day. A loaf of sandwich bread, yeast rolls, but also pita bread and lavash, naan and roti, focaccia, baguettes, tortillas, bagels, challah, injera, arepas, breads made of wheat, but also breads made from potatoes or corn, or whatever grains are grown all over the world. To share a meal together, any meal, is inherently a sacred act. When that meal is intimate, when it's familial, it's a chance to tell the stories of our day. When the meal is larger, when we invite in others, it's a chance to hear unfamiliar stories. Everything we do, all day, every single thing we do carries with it a burden of culture and stories, towing them behind. And so for food, we have family recipes, we have national cuisine. This week, many of us will be eating very American meals as part of a holiday purposefully intended to create national cultural identity. And so components will carry family stories too, stories of aunts and uncles and grandparents and forebears who shaped who we, this generation, became. Unspoken, simply understood and known by those participating. Prior to the Civil War, Americans did not particularly identify with the Pilgrim story or with Turkey. It was a decision and an attempt to culturally unify North and South after the Civil War. Stories were chosen and amplified, and so were some recipes spread throughout the country in magazines and newspapers. And certain stories were not chosen. Southern stories for certain, but more glaringly Black stories and indigenous stories, stories of the cultures that were already weaving themselves into what would become contemporary United States. And so this week, another story will be told, a story of mourning. Those who lost their homes will mark the day with grieving instead of feasting. Both things are true. This is a time for gratitude, for family, and thanksgiving. And it is also a time of mourning for those whose histories have been pushed aside for centuries. It is both and. It's important for us to remember that the original story is something, and we can increased with the old, both and. Right now, at this moment, we are entering unknown territory. Many of us with some measure of anxiety, because ahead mean danger for so many people among us in this room and outside its doors. In ancient times, and in many places around the world today, even still, to feed someone, to take someone in and offer them a meal was to make them family. Maybe forever, maybe just for a time, but a guest had sacred rights to be protected and cared for by the host. To offer someone food and drink was to offer safety and care. And so a shared meal was a first step in creating a relationship or in repairing it. A shared meal was an opportunity to build or rebuild. Our Reverend Dr. Betancourt has called for us, for Unitarian Universalists, to be a people of sanctuary. She says, from the powerful efforts of our elders in the middle of the 20th century, through to our congregations and communities offering shelter to migrants today. Whether harbor or Pink Haven, our homes, sanctuaries, and even our national headquarters model what it means to offer solidarity, shelter, and asylum in the face of what many of us cannot begin to imagine. These are times that will be defined by the continued and increasing need for organizing and a faithful commitment to mutual aid. She continues by saying, I want to invite all of us back to what we learned in our earliest understandings of what humanity itself means. We draw our purpose from the call to honor and uphold the non-negotiable sacredness of each and every person, of earth and of all beings, bound up together in an abiding love that rests in the call to justice. To be bound up together in abiding love. This binding is visible in our food, in our stories, shared meals. And so let us, this week, Thanksgiving week, let us commit to widening our circles, to ensuring there's always an open seat at our table. In the days to come, let this community commit to welcoming in all who seek refuge. As we share our bread today, let us remember to make space for more people, for their stories, for their hopes and dreams, because there are stories not yet told to us, relationships we have built or not yet healed. Let us commit to being a people of sanctuary, to offering all who come to us a place of safety where they can be seen, cared for, and loved. Amen, and may it be so. In a moment, we will come forward and share some bread, and I don't think I thought through the logistics of this. Some of it is not, so I think I may, while I bless the bread, if I could have a volunteer, there is a bread knife slicing some of the crustier homemade loaves so that it can be distributed. That would be wonderful. It's good. So, as she slices, I will talk a little bit about bread and bless it, and then I will invite us all forward. I will say, my beloved gluten-free folks, I too am a gluten-free folk, and I said to myself, Katie, there are English muffins in the freezer. When you get them out, and where are they? They are in the freezer. So those of us who are gluten-free, we will spiritually partake of this bread. Bread is the staff of life. It is nourishment for so many peoples of the world. The sun shining down, the rain, nourishment drawn up from the earth, grain takes in all of that and transforms it into nourishment for itself, nourishment for birds and animals, and ultimately for us as well, For we too are creatures, beings part of the interdependent web of life. The grain is gathered, whether that grain is wheat or corn or rice or barley. It is gathered by hands we will not likely see or know. The grain is then milled into flour. It will join with water and yeast and perhaps salt or sugar or honey, and it will be transformed into a plethora of forms. Tangy, soft and sweet. Whatever form the bread takes, it reminds us of our place in this way of life. In breaking bread, we confess our dependence on the whole web of life. In breaking bread, we acknowledge our responsibility to steward the abundance to us so that it might sustain the future. When we break our bread, we confess that we are sustained by others, by the labor of others, by their sacrifices, and we acknowledge our responsibility to care for others. The bread comes to us with its own narratives, stories of its making, but also the stories of its makers. Different cultures, different families, different traditions in a solid form, a form that offers nourish and sustenance. All who wish to do so are invited to come forward now for a piece of bread, and if you need some brought to you, raise your hand, and then bring it back to your seat so that we can all eat together at the same time. If you wish to resist temptation and not already eat your bread, which smelling it, I admit, I did too. Take a moment to really breathe in that bread smell, that smell of grain, and notice the texture of it. Maybe of that outer crust, or maybe you got one of the soft rolls. And now, take a bite. Chew slowly. You can. Oh, the bread smells so wonderful. Notice if it's soft or chewy or salty or sweet or all of these things. And imagine the rain and the sun that went into creating that bread. Remember the way rain smells and the way sun-warmed earth smells, and know that that went in to the creation of your bread. So take some time in silent meditation to eat our bread, remember our place in the web of life, and offer up this moment of gratitude for abundance. All right, beloveds, I have a litany of gratitude for us to close out this portion of our service in number 512 in your gray hymnal. And the majority of the responses, we give thanks this day, so if you are still eating and don't want to get out the hymnal, that's probably okay. One is more than that. So if some portion of you could be ready on that last one, that would be wonderful. Please join in with me on the italicized text. For the expanding grandeur of creation, worlds known and unknown, galaxies beyond galaxies filling us with awe and challenging our imaginations, we give thanks this day. For this fragile planet and tides, its sunsets and seasons, we give thanks this day. For the joy of human life, its wonders and surprises, its hopes and achievements, we give thanks this day. For our human community, our common past and future hope, our oneness transcending all separation, our capacity to work for peace and justice in the midst of hostility and oppression, we give thanks this day. For high hopes and noble causes, for faith without fanaticism, for understanding of views not shared, we give thanks this day. For all who have labored and suffered for a fairer world, who have lived so that others might live in dignity and freedom, we give thanks this day. For human liberty and sacred rights, for opportunities to change and grow, to affirm and choose, we give thanks this day. That we may live not by our fears, but by our hopes, not by our words, but by our deeds. This is the moment in our service where gratitude meets generosity, and this is a special week for it because this week we are sharing the plate with Mercy Tree. Do you want to go forward and tell? No, not about Mercy Tree then. We were going round and round, and we had a couple options, and I think we never pulled it. That's okay. Mercy Tree feeds our unhoused neighbors right here in Clear Lake. There's a rotating schedule. Several churches are involved, and once a month, we are the kitchen, and we cook meals and bring them to the distribution location so that they are distributed. And for those of you who have never had the pleasure of being here on that Wednesday, it smells amazing every week because we are cooking real food. If you are familiar with some of the struggles in the Houston area with feeding our unhoused neighbors, often it's bologna sandwiches, nothing special. We get very, very good, fancy donated chicken from a farm. We have vegetables. We have a full, healthy meal that we bring to the distribution center. And so we're able to give someone something that really meets their needs, not only also because I think it shows the care that we have. This is I think it is entirely funded by our Share the Plate. It costs about $1,000 a year to run because so much of the chicken is donated and so forth, which means that what we raise today is usually enough to keep ministry going for another year. And so I invite you to give as generously as you are able to this program in Clear Lake to do good in the world.
wonderful. Please join me in saying, "This gift from the abundance of my life blesses me, our ministries, and the world." Well, we have a few announcements today. The big one is our annual BAUUC Thanksgiving Day Feast is this Thursday, November 28th, from 2 to 4 o'clock in Cockrell Hall. Our kitchen volunteers, turkey stuffing and mashed potatoes for everyone. Bring your friends and a delicious dish to share. Good food and great fellowship and not too many dishes to clean up in your home. Now that's something to be thankful for. And your support will make the event a warm and welcome celebration for everyone. It would be appreciated if you could assist in setting out flatware, preparing drinks, or tidying up afterwards. Every bit of help is truly appreciated. If you're available to lend a hand, please contact kitchen@bauuc.org or call 281-488-2001. Remember, many hands make light work. Even if you can't help, be sure to bring a dish and join us. And our volunteer lunch is coming up on Saturday, December 14th, and the lineup is on the board in Cockrell Hall, and space is limited. And there is nothing in the world so irresistibly contagious as laughter and good humor. So says Charles Dickens in A Christmas Carol. Be sure to join us on Saturday, December 7th at 7 for an evening of Christmas fun. We will gather in Cockrell Hall for music and snacks. Please bring a snack to share. Then we will move into the sanctuary to watch our movie, A Muppet's Christmas Carol, at 7:30. Come dressed in comfy, festive holiday clothes or your Christmas jammies. This is an all-church event and all ages are welcome. And our next congregational meeting is on 8th after the service, and the agenda items will be announced. If you're new to BAUUC or visiting and have questions about this church or Unitarian Universalism, you're invited to talk with Reverend Katie for coffee and snacks at the service in the church library. She'd love to meet you and your family. And members and friends are welcome to join us after the service in Cockrell Hall to mingle over coffee and enjoy light snacks. Let's come together and share some quality time as a community. If you're not a member of the BAUUC community Facebook group, use the QR code on the screen to join. Our community Facebook group is a place for BAUUC members and friends to chat with each other and to engage about church events and news. Everyone can't post to our Facebook page, but you can post in the community group. You don't have to join, so today. And finally, here at BAUUC, we understand the importance of staying connected with our community. That's why we offer a newsletter every Tuesday with the latest news and events happening at our church. Don't miss out on the opportunity to engage in activities and connect with fellow members. Sign up for our email list today or use the QR code on the screen or go to bauuc.org and join our community of spiritual and fun. Now, please stand able to sing our closing hymn, number 322, Thanks Be for These.
Beloved friends, may you find all the things to be grateful for and all the abundance in the week ahead. And may we gather all that abundance and use it to make the world more just, more fair, and a better place. And now, please meet me for coffee after the service. Blessed be and go in peace.